Good evening, and thanks as always for joining us here on Speed Racing Network. Got some Truck Series action for you tonight. I'm Greg Olenek here with Landon Lacey. Landon, are you excited for some road course racing tonight?
Yeah, I really am. This is probably one of my most favorite road courses. Stepping in for Brandon Domain tonight, he's going to be racing here. But yeah, really looking forward to this. Getting a little off the path of the old cookie cutter racetrack, so we've been going to lately. So it's fun to finally get out here to a road course.
Yes, 3 races to go before the playoffs, and throwing a little wrench into the schedule. A road course to sort things out as we get there. But last week we had a great race at Charlotte. A lot of lead changes and some really hard racing amongst the field. What did you think about last week, Landon? Do you think we'll see a lot of that today here at Watkins Glen?
I don't think we'll see the same. Things typically tend to get spread out here more. I still think we'll have some great action, but I definitely don't think we'll see as many lead changes and a number of leaders that we had last week at Charlotte.
All right, well, let's go ahead and show you guys what we're getting into tonight. Like I said, this is Truck Series action for the battle at the Glen. 35 laps. And as always, one faster pair, and that comes in pretty handy at a track like this, Landon.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You could slip up, hit a curb the wrong way, and it could, you have the Armco walls here, and you hit one of those, and it's going to tear your truck up. So it's nice to, have a faster pair. And we think about tomorrow for the Xfinity race. You don't have that. So, but still want to take care of it. Don't want to have to use the fast repair if you don't need to. But definitely got to take care of that truck tonight.
All right, let's go ahead and check out the league details here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. And as always, it's a 20-week fixed setup league. We just mentioned that it's one faster pair for these truck guys, and they're paying $5 a week to get in on the action. Now, they're going to be racing for weekly as well as season payouts. $300 going to the first place champion. And we have 5-person teams here as well with $100 going to the team champion, and quite an interesting playoff format with that team championship. We'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, these guys are racing for a good chunk of change here, Landon.
Yeah, and like we said, the $5 entry fee, and you think about it for 20 weeks, that's what, $100, and if you win the championship, you win $300. So I mean, you're tripling the money. Well, yeah, basically tripling the money that you're putting into it. So, and then you have the team championship that you would split with your teammates. So I mean, you could walk out with a large sum of money than what you put into it.
Absolutely, and let's get into what these guys are going to be racing for tonight. And if they get that first place prize, it's going to be $15. So they're going to be tripling that entry fee. Second place is going to come away with $10. Third through fifth, getting their money back. And as Brandon and I always like to mention, if you start racking up these wins or even top fives week after week, Landon, it can really start to add up in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys that haven't paid since week 1 because they're constantly finishing here in these top 5 positions, which is basically covering their entry fees through the whole season. So I mean, I just talked about you put in $5 a week, you spend $100 for the season. Some guys are putting in $5, maybe $10 through the whole season, and can make a lot more money than what we just spoke about.
Definitely. And I think next we're going to go ahead and check out what they're going to be racing for in the long term and the season payouts. This is where it's all at. First place going to get $300. Second place going to walk away with $150. Third getting $90. Fourth place going to get $60. And if you make that top 5, you're guaranteed at least $40, which is almost half the season of entry fees. Sixth place is going to get $30. Seventh going to get $20, and eighth going to come away with $10. And that's something that the Speed Racing Network really prided itself on this year, and that's paying the top 8 out as opposed to the top 5 last season. So giving these guys a little extra incentive to race for.
Yeah, and these guys, we for SRN, we kind of want to give thanks to our drivers, and I think this was a good way to do that by, because we have great numbers in the truck series. I think it's we have better numbers in the trucks than we do Xfinity and Cup. And it's just a good way to thank these guys for coming out each and every week.
Yeah, so, we're going to be sorting out that playoff field here in a couple weeks. We'll get into the standings shortly. But before that, if you are trying to make that final push towards the playoffs or see yourself well inside the cut and want to get ready for the playoffs, you might want to check out some Kane Cook Sim Coaching. And this isn't just for our guys. Anybody can take advantage of this. You'll see right here how to go check it out. Go book your session on speedracingnetwork.com. Real easy to navigate the homepage. Just scroll down a little bit and you'll set yourself up with a time with a Coke Series professional here. I rating over 7,000, Landon. Not easy to come by.
Yeah, and I mean, not easy to come by, but not only that, he's got a second account that's at 7,000 as well. So this guy knows what he's doing. You know, we always talk about in our Cup Series, you know, we race for $1,000, so he's racing for $300,000. So this man definitely knows what he's doing.
Man, I wish I was racing for 300 grand, but yeah, I've been working with him. Pretty much, I was at the beginning of the season working with him a lot, and man, I won my second race out of the season. Helped me at Texas big time as well last year, so man, I owe it all to Kane. Man definitely knows what he is talking about, so if you find yourself, like I said, wanting to get a little extra speed, go ahead and check it out on speedracingnetwork.com. But before that, go ahead and stick around because Beer Street Journal has this week's Beer of the Week. Take it away, Sean.
This week's Beer Street Journal Beer of the Week comes out of Buskey Cider in Richmond, Virginia. They just released a limited edition cider a couple weeks ago called Buskey Strawberry Kiwi. The hard cider features locally sourced Virginia apples, plus strawberries and kiwis. You can find this limited edition hard cider in the Richmond, Hampton Roads, and Nova areas of Virginia. So if you're looking for a hard cider on those cool fall nights, look for the hard cider that smells like strawberries and tastes like kiwi. Look for Buskey Strawberry Kiwi Hard Cider. The Beer of the Week is brought to you by BeerStreetJournal.com, the leading online publication for craft beer reviews. Go to BeerStreetJournal.com to find your next great beer. And as always, you must be 21 to enjoy, and please drink responsibly.
Well, there you have it. This week's Beer Street Journal Beer of the Week, Buskey Hard Cider, Strawberry Kiwi. Landon, during that segment, you said you're not much of a kiwi guy, but would you try it anyway?
I mean, I'm willing to try anything. You know, I'm always like going out and trying new things. And you know, I mean, maybe the strawberry. There's more strawberry than kiwi, so I mean, it could be pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, I would try anything once. You know, not big on the ciders, but you know, someone is bound to get my attention eventually. It might be Buskey, so I'm going to go to BeerStreetJournal.com and check it out some more. So moving on now in the healthcare Billion Incorporated pre-race show. Here are the standings that we were talking about not too long ago. This is inside the cut currently with 3 races till the playoffs. Jonathan Byer sitting atop the standings. Landon Cardullo, his teammate, just below him. And rounding out the top 5, you've got Sean Jensen, Blair Holloman, and Michael Madden. All of these guys well in the top 15 are running great so far, but still a few races to go, Landon.
Yeah, and you know, we've kind of been talking about, you know, within SRN, we've been talking clinching opportunities, and I think the only one that can clinch tonight is Jonathan Byer, and I believe that is with a win or with a lap led and finishing second. But all these other guys are still going to have to wait another week to see whether or not they can actually clinch their spot.
Yeah, and see if these guys can maybe upset for a big win here tonight. We know Joseph DuPont is great on the road courses, so could he help his cause? Sitting 14 points above the cut line. Who else down here? Mike Mosby, Rob Yost, Bobby Anderson, all needing to build on those standings. But let's go ahead and check out the drivers sitting outside the cut. And here we go. A couple of big names here as well. Kevin Wanker, who's run really well all season, sits himself out 5 points right now in 16. Cody Riggs out of Rev Racing looking to get in with his teammates up there in the top 15. Dave Fuchs Jr., who's finding himself sitting out here. So a few big names. Taylor Smith, Michael York, Bruce Amston. Who's sticking out to you here, Landon?
I mean, I don't really have anybody that's standing out. I will say this. I think tonight is a good racetrack to where if you can just keep your truck on the racetrack, you'll have a really, really good points night. So guys like Kevin Winker, Cody Riggs, Dave Fuge, Taylor Smith, guys that are really close to this cut line, can make moves tonight by just being clean and keeping their truck out on the pavement.
Yeah, and these guys that are finding themselves outside the cut can't necessarily count themselves out yet either, because another really cool change to the rule book that SRN made this year is there is a playoff lucky dog. So the best non-playoff driver finishing in the finishing position will get an extra spot in the playoffs. So that is huge for these guys to not give up and really bring it for that last race here in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, and you asked me a minute ago someone that really stands out, and I really didn't have anybody till I looked at this list, and I'm looking at Brad Herman, really fast in practice right now, so I think he might have a good shot tonight to kind of move up the point standings.
All right, well, let's go ahead and check out the team standings while we're here. And Jonathan Byer Racing starting to run away with this Next Level Motorsports in second with 4 wins. Rev Racing going to round out our top 3. And as always, we like to remind you that this is for seeding purposes when it comes to the team playoffs. A new thing as well this year in SRN that we are excited to get to check out here in the playoffs. But 1 and 8 going to race each other. 2 and 7, 3 and 6, as well as 4 and 5 will go against each other in the first round of the playoffs. So this is not concrete at all. These guys are going to be battling it out once those playoffs start.
Yeah, and I think now these teams are kind of just like settling into their spots. I mean, I know Next Level and Rev'd are really close in points, and then you have Zuyos and Tank as well. I mean, basically, there's battles at every other position on this list. So, still a lot to race for, even though we don't have many more races until the playoffs.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get to the driver introductions here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. And the first team up is going to be Jonathan Byer Racing, as they are atop our standings. And let's go ahead and check out their roster. It's going to comprise of Jonathan Byer with 2 wins already on the season, Landon Cardulo with a win last week at Charlotte, as well as Kyle Wimble, Jack Johnson, and James Kerr. This team is absolutely stacked, and it shows in the standings.
And it does, and we see them do very well at the 1.5-mile tracks, but kind of stepping away from that for this week. So we'll have to see how these guys can do out here on this road course.
Yeah, so we'll see if someone can sneak away with a win here for JBR tonight. But moving on, we're going to have Rev'd Racing next. And they have a pretty good team that might be able to surprise us as well. Lucas Lyons here in the 7 machine has run really well in his rookie campaign. Michael Madden with a win to his name already. Sean Jensen, our Daytona winner in the 29. Sean Kozier in the 97, as well as a number change for Cody Riggs. Look for him to be out there in the 12 car tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna throw me off a little bit. And you spoke about him a second ago. We were talking about Lucas Lyons, and he's looking really fast tonight, so could be a kind of a surprise winner tonight coming out from that 7 truck.
Yeah, he's my guy to look for tonight as far as Rev'd Racing goes. Really prides himself on practicing out there. But moving on now, let's go ahead and get to the next team here in the team introductions. The team that is sitting there in third with 4 wins already on the season. It's going to be Next Level Motorsports, and they have quite a new roster here with a few veterans that are carrying this team along with good points positions each week. Michael York out there, Troy Techmeyer, always running good. And then the new guys here on the block, Stan Carnathan, Brad Rivers, and Brad Herman with a win to his name. Both of these Brads have been running really well here the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and I know, being a part of Next Level, I know these guys have been practicing all week long as we look here at Stan Carnathan doing his qualifying lap. But these guys have been practicing all week long. They've been posting stuff in Discord about running sessions. Brad Herman's definitely quick. Oh, as Carnathan spins out of the carousel. That's really easy to do. I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight. But yeah, these Next Level guys have a really good shot tonight.
Yeah, and just go back to the pits and try and start that lap over again, because it won't register a time if you go off the course. So whenever you do that, you're going to have to go back and reset, and that's exactly what we're seeing Stan Carnathan do right here. But moving on here next, we're going to go check out Zoo Yost Racing. That team sitting there quietly in 4th, and they have their team captain, Rob Yost, looking to get his first win of the season and make a repeat visit to the playoffs here this year. And Blair Holloman sitting well inside the top 5 here in the 06 truck. Dave Fuchs Jr., one of those guys sitting just outside the cut and Mike Mosby having a good season as well, but needs a good run tonight to keep in that top 15.
And I think he'll get that. I kind of ran a little practice race with the truck guys earlier in the week. Mike Mosby was really, really quick. So I think this is going to be a good opportunity for him to get a win this week.
Yeah, he's been running really well here this past couple of weeks. Really showing some good speed, and Zuyos Racing has been running really good all season long. So we look for that to continue here tonight at Watkins Glen, see what these guys can do. But moving on, let's go ahead and check out the 5th place team in our team standings here tonight on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. It's going to be Tank Racing, and man, they got their first win a few weeks ago with Jacob Zala up there in the 25 machine. Josh Mueller having a really good run, sitting about 7th, I believe it was, in the standings. So a good run for that 26 so far this year. Needs to keep it up. The 63 of Bruce Ampson, the 64 of Walt Lepicki, and the 79 of Jeremy Duncan. And Jacob Zala, we just mentioned him, our Darlington winner a few weeks ago, looking good out here tonight on Watkins Glen.
And running a little bit of a new paint this week. He asked me to, pink it up for the month of October. So got that done for him. But he's been on fire lately. He's moved up from outside of the top 15 to up to 7th. Man is making moves, and he's trying his best to go as far as he can before these playoffs start.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of what Denny Hamlin has done this year, running really well all season long and then peaking at the right time. So that's what we could be seeing here with Jacob Zala, and I have to imagine that we will see quite a few people running pink paint schemes all month long for breast cancer awareness. But moving on now, we're going to go check out the do-gooders, the fun team in the league, as they like to say. And they have the 17 of Danny Setzer, 24 of Taylor Smith, who's had a good run so far this year. Needs a few more points to make a solid setting in the playoffs. So we'll see if he can do that tonight. And the 88 of Joseph DuPont, like I said earlier, a really good road course racer. So I expect to see him out there tonight up towards the front. The 90 of Corey Knight, and then the 239 of Joey Farrell out there as well. And right here, Taylor Smith out there for his qualifying lap in that 24 machine. He is running good so far this year, but like I said, is going to need a good run tonight to help that case.
Yeah, and I mean, you touched on it as well with Joseph DuPont, and another great road course driver. Not really looking too good right now in the qualifying sheet, but I think he'll definitely be up there by the end of this race.
All right, let's go ahead and check out Stryker Motorsports next. And they have quite a good team out there as well. One of their teammates getting their win last week in the Xfinity Series, Tyler Markle. So let's see if the truck guys can go ahead and duplicate what they did last week tonight. Matt Johnson out there in the 1 always has good speed. The 9 of Tevin Whitner has shown a lot of growth this season. Looking forward to see what he can do out there. The 33 of Don Milkowicz, the Kevin Winker machine in the number 42 truck, and the 71 of Travis Trevelyan. All these guys can strike at any given moment. And I just want to mention as well, their Stryker Motorsports teammate and my co-commentator from normal weeks in the past, Brandon Domain, is out there as well tonight.
Yeah, and I was just about to bring that up, and Brandon's been pretty quick tonight so far, and I think that's going to kind of elevate the rest of this team, because he can kind of give them a little bit of tips and pointers on where they can improve their lap times, or what to do when they're passing somebody. So I mean, I feel like that's really going to help out these 5 guys.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what Brandon and the rest of Stryker Motorsports can do tonight. But moving on, we got one more team to go ahead and introduce here tonight for the team introductions here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. It's Bobby Anderson Racing, and they like to raise the bar. And they have the 18 of Bobby Anderson out there, the 54 of Jason Kratke, and the 55 of Michael Amenti. A small roster, but one that can really score up points any given week.
Yeah, and they've been putting in a lot of practice too, because I mentioned earlier we did a truck race practice earlier in the week, and Bobby Anderson was actually the one that hosted it. So again, thanks to Bobby for all that. But these guys have been putting in the work this week too, and this probably goes for all the teams, because when you come to a road course, it's it's not your typical racetrack, so everybody's going to put in a little bit of extra practice.
All right. Well, we have a few independent drivers out there as well. The 01 of Bo Tiffany out there. The 45 of Daniel Keith Jr. We already mentioned the 02 of Brandon Domain out there. The 14 of AJ Pritchett, as well as the 40 of Zach Bergeson, all running as independents tonight. Looking forward to seeing what these guys can do on their own.
And as we mentioned, Brandon Domain looking good for tonight. I'm interested to see this Zach Bergeson. He just joined the league last week, and kind of had a little bit of a rough outing. But I want to see how he does at a road course.
All right, well then let's go ahead and get out there and see the starting lineup for the Battle at the Glen 90 here at Watkins Glen. And Brad Herman going to take the pole tonight with a 1:14.367. Blair Holloman sitting to his outside. Sean Jensen going to be starting third, and Landon Cardulo, last week's winner, is going to be starting fourth.
And then you'll have a guy we spoke about, Lucas Lyons, starting fifth. Our old buddy Brandon Domain starting sixth. Mike Mosby, who we also spoke about, starting seventh, and Jack Johnson starting eighth.
Matt Johnson going to be starting ninth. Jacob Zala going to be rounding out the top 10. Stancart Nathan in 11th, and Kevin Winker going to come home in 12th for qualifying here tonight at the Glen. So, Landon, who are you looking at taking to win this race tonight?
Well, he's probably going to end up hating me for saying this. We probably give him enough of the broadcaster's curse. I'm going to go with Brandon Domain. I think our old buddy, I think he might be able to pull it out here tonight.
He is going to hate you for that. But hopefully he can do it. I'd be rooting for him as well. But since you already took him, I'm going to go ahead and look through the field that we got out there tonight. And, man, I'm just going to go ahead and go with last week's winner, Landon Cardulo, to repeat tonight. That just seems to be in the water at Jonathan Byer Racing. When they don't win once, they don't like winning just once. They'll win again the next week with his Ghirardelli chocolate truck on the hood there. And, man, I just think he's going to pull it home tonight for another W here in SRN.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good pick. I mean, you never know when people get their first win. Some guys tend to just click them off after that. And, with Cardulo getting his first win last week, you never know. You don't have that stress of trying to win your first race. You just go out there and try to go get another one.
Well, we got a long pace lap to go before these guys come around for the green flag. So let's go ahead and look at the individual standings that are inside the cut one more time before we drop the green. And there you see Jonathan Byer, like we already mentioned, sitting there up in the number 1 position, trying to find exactly. He's qualified 16th, so he's going to have his work cut out for him, but sitting well inside the top 15. Landon Cardulo going to be starting 4th tonight. Sean Jensen going to be starting 3rd, sits in 3rd in the individual standings. And Blair Holloman going to be starting 2nd. Michael Madden going to be starting in 15th tonight. So the top 5 well within the top half of the field, but a few of these guys sitting in the middle of the pack. Josh Mueller, not sure I'm seeing him in my top 20. Oh, he is starting 20th, so he's going to have his work cut out among a lot of these other guys who find themselves sitting a little bit in the middle of the pack as far as qualifying order.
Yeah, I mean, the one guy I look at right off the bat is our pole sitter, Brad Herman, and I kind of spoke about him earlier. Sitting around 20th in points, not on this top 15. So, if he could continue from his pole position to pull out a win tonight, we might possibly see him in the top 15 by the end of the night.
Yeah, that would be absolutely huge. He knows this race is pivotal in his shot to make it inside the cut. But like we said, 2 more races after tonight as well, so going to have some more work to do. If he's able to find himself inside the top 15 after this race, we will see how it works itself out. But another one sitting outside the cut, Dave Hughes Jr., going to be starting in 17th. Cody Riggs, not exactly sure where he is, but he is in the second half of the field. So a lot of these guys that are right on the bubble are going to have a lot of work to do and make up some points and really take advantage of a good road course here at Watkins Glen International. But we are done with that pace lap. We're going to see that Porsche pace car pull off here in New York, and we are going to be having a great race as we head down into this downhill right-hand turn for turn number 1. We're green here at the Glen.
You're going to have to be really careful when you get down here into 1 not to overshoot it so you don't run into anybody. And we could possibly see that. It looks like so far everybody's been clean.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see that, as it's just a very tight turn. And yeah, there they go in the back a little bit further on. Don Milkowicz takes a hard lick inside that, or into the wall and the out. That's kind of where Jimmy Johnson had that really bad crash in the early 2000s. But here we go, heading into turn, I believe, 5 and 6 here, the bus stop. This is another spot where you got to be careful not to drive over a truck.
Yeah, this whole section here is very tricky from the bus stop onto the carousel, and you really got to be careful at the exit of this carousel as well. The truck tends to want to get really, really loose on you as you get back onto that throttle, and you also have to watch that grass on the left-hand side coming out of there as well.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because we will not see any cautions tonight. So if you wreck or get spun or just lose time in any way, there is nothing to help save you on the back end and help come in and get that damage fix that you might suffer. So you got to be really careful here to not push it too far at the Glen. But then again, you got to race for a win here tonight as well. So it's a tough thing to balance, Landon.
Yeah, well, you know, one thing I'm thinking about as well is you kind of want to be careful on how you get on the throttle, especially off these slow corners, especially like right here in turn 1. If you get on it too quick, you could light up those rear tires, and by the time you get to the end of the run,
Dave Fuchs Jr. around.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there was all kinds of chaos happening back there. And Dave Fuchs Jr., one of those drivers. Jeremy Duncan back there as well, taking a big hard hit into that wall. He's got big time damage. Not sure if that truck has power, and he is in the pits now. So a really tough break for the 79 machine out of Tank Racing. But yeah, Dave Fuchs Jr. taking that spin, losing a lot of positions. Not what he needs sitting outside the cut.
No, not at all. You know, trying to have a good night, and you know, already on lap 2, already have sent to the back from spinning out.
Yeah, so another truck here into the wall.
He's stuck in the. Yeah, he's stuck in the.
No. I've had this happen. I think we've all had that happen to us at least once in our iRacing careers. These walls, if you hit them wrong, it just will grab your truck and you will not be able to move from it. You'll have to take a tow down the pits, and that is not what Walt Lipicki wanted to do. But a great battle here up front. Brad Herman and Blair Holloman and Sean Jensen really not getting away from one another. Like Lucas Lyons as well also up there. Taylor Smith hard into the wall here. Can't really get turned around until all these trucks get by. So that is going to be tough for another guy sitting just outside in the cut.
Yeah, that's a terrible place to sit because it's the very last corner, and trucks tend to kind of push up as you get onto the throttle coming out of that corner. So that's a bad place to be sitting.
Well, going through the bus stop here, Blair Holman just stalking Brad Herman almost, it seems. So great racing, like we said, going around the carousel right now. Going to have a lap truck not too far ahead of them, too, so they're going to have to work around that. A great battle here up at the front.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking. I was looking at Lucas Lyons. He got around Landon Cardulo there that last lap and is starting to close in on his teammate Sean Jensen.
Yeah, so two Rev Racing team. No. Brad Herman maybe got some damage there from Walt Lipicki getting into the wall just in front of the leaders. And now Blair Holloman making a pass. Yeah, look at that damage on the front of that truck.
Yeah, that is very, very unfortunate. And as they were trying to get around Lipicki, he just got loose in front of him, and Brad had nowhere to go but right into the back bumper.
Yeah, that's a very slick turn, but man, such a tough passing zone when you got a lap car there. Unfortunate for Brad Herman. Hopefully he'll be able to keep up with our leader, but right now it looks like Blair Holloman just stepping away up to 8/10, 9/10 of a second lead. Now Sean Jensen passing Brad Herman. He is falling back in a hurry.
He might even possibly have some engine damage from how hard he hit him. And looking at that, as Lucas Lyons hits the tire wall coming out of the bus stop.
Big mistake there for Lucas Lyons. He's going to have to be really careful to get this thing turned around and not collect anybody else here. He's going to have to almost 3 or 4 point turn this truck to get it going in the right direction, and loses a ton of spots in the process. But this lead only growing for Blair Holloman. Mike Mosby with some heavy damage on looking inside of Michael Madden, now up into the top 10. So a good push to the front so far as he started 15th, already up 5 positions here coming to lap 5. Matt Johnson up a few positions as well. So a good run for him so far, up to 6th from 9th. So a great run by this number 1 truck.
Yeah, well, we see Taylor Smith kind of slow there on the bottom as well, almost to a complete stop. Yeah, Matt Johnson has gained a couple positions, and Zachary Burgesson, one of our newer guys to the league, he's a little bit slow coming down the backstretch.
Yeah, you would think these trucks would handle better in the grass, but not the case. They do not like it at all. If you barely just nip it with your tire, it will send you all sorts of loose in the wrong spots. So you got to be careful to not get in that grass, and when you do, it's really hard to get out of it. But right now, that lead just growing and growing and growing for Blair Holloman, just pulling away from the 29 of Sean Jensen. Landon Cardulo has made the pass on Brad Herman, so Brad Herman now back to 4th. Next in line is Brandon Domain to maybe pick up a spot off of Brad Herman. So the fall continues for the 85.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I think he has a little bit of engine damage for how hard he hit the back of Lipicki. So he's kind of struggling to down these long straightaways like the front stretch here. But Brandon Domain's truck so far looking pretty clean.
Yeah, looking like what Brandon knows what he's doing out there in that 0-2 machine. The Great Finder truck. Landon Cardulo spins right in front of him. So he's up to 3rd. Landon Cardulo going to lose a lot of spots. Finds himself in 9th or 10th now. And just probably some heavy damage on that truck as well. We're trying to get a good look at it. Maybe not as he hit the tires. We'll have to get a good look at this truck to see if we can tell.
Yeah, thankfully the tires here are a little bit more forgiving than that Armco barrier that you see on both sides of this racetrack.
Yeah, so a tough break for Landon Cardulo and the Ghirardelli Chocolates, number 13, Jonathan Byer Tundra here. So last week's winner finding himself down in the dumps early here at Watkins Glen.
We talked about that lead opening up a little bit, but it's actually closed back down a little bit as Sean Jensen starting to close in on Blair Holloman.
Yeah, our Daytona winner trying to get in and get his 2nd win in his rookie season. So Sean Jensen starting to make a push to the front and run down Blair Holloman. Like you said, Blair Holloman looking to get that 1st win here in SRN and for Zuyos Racing, but a tight battle here as Brandon Domain is now passing Brad Herman as well as Matt Johnson getting in on the mix. Jacob Zala here, and I believe that's Joseph DuPont also threatening to pass Brad Herman. We could see Brad Herman fall out of the top 10 here soon.
Yeah, that was all of our 3rd to 7th place trucks, and Brandon Domain's already gotten by and kind of pulling away, and now Joseph DuPont's going to try to go after Brad Herman.
So Brandon Domain, now in the top 3. I'm not used to saying his name while he's in a race, so I got to get used to that. But yeah, Joseph DuPont, looking at him now inside the top 5. Jacob Zala sitting there just behind him in 6th, and then Matt Johnson in 7th. And like we just mentioned, Landon Cardulo falling back to 8th.
Zala with a little bit of damage, but he actually just went around Johnson for the 6th place, and he's going to see if he can run down Herman and DuPont.
There we can go. Joseph DuPont making a pass on Brad Herman. So Joseph DuPont up to 4th. Brad Herman back to 5th now after leading this race and starting on the pole, getting some damage from the Walt Lipicki 64 machine and really feeling the effects of it as the fall continues. Now finds himself 7 seconds back of the leader.
As we go back up to Blair Holloman, and he still has about that 1 to 1.2 second lead over Sean Jensen. Kind of think Sean's just kind of riding at the moment, just trying to manage the gap to Blair.
Yeah, Sean's gotten a lot better over the course of the season at managing his truck. It's one thing that we pride ourselves on, as well as every iRacing driver does, is learning how to really save that truck, and he's really learned it a lot this season, and showing here as he's just keeping pace with our leader. Jacob Zala now making the pass on Brad Herman. So a tough pass right here in the bus stop. They make it happen, but that was a really bad point for both of them. Matt Johnson now looking to the inside of Brad Herman.
And Brad with his damage, I think he probably should have just let Zala go there instead of trying to race him down in there, because that could have ended up really, really bad for both of them.
Yeah, but you know how it is when you're inside that truck and you just keep losing position after position. It starts to get old after a while. So, you know, he was just racing them hard there. It's a tough spot there for both of them. But, man, I know he is just looking to get inside that fuel window for when he can bring that truck down and use that fast repair to clean that truck up and maybe pick up some spots again here.
One truck I've been kind of watching, Michael Madden's broke into the top 10 in the 15. He's about 16 seconds behind our leaders, so a lot of time to make up. And without having cautions, that's going to be a little tough to do. But up from where he started, I don't quite remember where he started, but I know he wasn't in the top 10.
Yeah, so good run so far by Michael Madden. One win to his name already this season. Looking to make it another one potentially here if he can pick up a few more spots out there on the track. Blair Holloman now pulling away to a pretty big lead. He's stretching it out to almost 2.5 seconds now. So the leader's starting to really feel that track. And he is gone at the moment, just putting time on everybody out there as he puts Troy Techmeyer a lap down.
Yeah, kind of starting to pull away from Sean Jensen and starting to just put laps together. He's probably riding around himself now that he's got a good 2.5 second lead. He can just focus on hitting his marks and being smooth as we see Daniel Keith Jr. around out of the bus stop.
Big hit for Daniel Keith Jr. there. That is some heavy, heavy damage on that truck. He is likely going to have to bring that thing down pit road this time to clean it up as these other guys behind him start approaching him very quickly here. But yeah, Sean Jensen now finds himself 3 seconds back. Still running second. A good run by a rookie here in SRN at Watkins Glen, but still losing time to the man out in front.
I believe we're about to have a battle for third between Brandon Domain and Joseph DuPont as Landon Cardulo goes around Matt Johnson for sixth.
Yeah, Landon Cardulo is starting to pick up those spots that he lost when he lost that truck not too long ago. But yeah, Brandon Domain going to have his hands full here with Joseph DuPont. Joseph DuPont right on the bumper of that O2 machine. And like we mentioned in the pre-race show, Joseph DuPont loves these road courses, so he is just setting Brandon up here on the exit of the carousel, try to get a good run, and that's exactly what he'll do, but he has the Techmeyer machine just in front of him, so not able to utilize that run yet. He's going to have to be real careful here if he decides to make the pass here on this left-hander coming to the right, going down the front stretch. So he's probably going to try and set Brandon up here on the exit of this turn and get a good launch down this front stretch.
Okay. He got a great launch off the last corner there, and that's going to set him up perfectly to outbrake him here going into turn one.
Both of them hard on the brakes in this turn one right here. Joseph DuPont's got the spot. He is up to third. Brandon Domain back to fourth now as few trucks go wide.
Troy Techmeyer overshooting turn one there.
Very easy thing to do, especially when he's trying to get away out of the way, of these lead lap cars. But a few other battles out here. Kevin Winker running really well, which is what he needs to do as he finds himself 5 points out of the cut right now. So doing the job that he needs to tonight, sitting in 13th. Probably wants a few more spots out there, but really, really good job by this 42 car.
Yeah. And we go to our point leader, Jonathan Byer. He's up to 11th after starting 16th with a little bit. He's got a little bit of damage on the back and a little bit of damage on the left front.
Well, it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. You know, he's had a great race so far, sitting in 11th, and really proving why he is the class of the field so far here in the SRN Truck Series, as he is our points leader with 2 wins to his name. Looking to get another one potentially tonight as he is picking up spots left and right.
Back up front to Blair Holloman. That lead's kind of come down a little bit. We saw it right at 3 seconds, now at 2 1/4. So these guys just, you know, like we said, Jensen was just managing his stuff. I think Blair's now gotten to the point where he's got a big enough lead. He's managing his stuff, and now it's just kind of like almost like a tug of war between these two.
Yeah, so we'll see if Sean Jensen's able to close the gap as Blair Holloman heads through the bus stop here with 24 laps to go. It's going to be a quick race tonight. Like we mentioned, no yellow flags. So this thing is going to fly by, but it's going to be a great race nonetheless, proven to be so far as Jensen still within striking distance. Just faster in some parts of the track, it seems, and then he loses it in others.
One thing I am seeing with Blair Holloman, I see that rear end dancing around a little bit more, which tells me he's kind of using up those rear tires, and not really seeing that with the 29 machine. So I think, like you see right there, he's having to turn a little bit to the left coming off that right-hander because those rear tires are sliding just a little bit, and not really seeing that on the Jensen truck.
Yeah, good catch there. He is getting a little bit loose on exit, especially as he hits the curb here. He's going to get it real loose out of one. So, yeah, like you mentioned, that is not going to be good for the rear tires over the course of a full run. You see how much time Sean Jensen makes up right there, about 0.6 of a second out of turn one. So definitely, gains and losses through this whole track for each one of these drivers. A great race nonetheless, down to 2 seconds almost between our top two. And Joseph DuPont not really losing any time either, but not gaining it too.
Yeah, and looking at the lap times real quick, Holloman ran a 16 flat, and DuPont was a little bit slower at a 16.1. So not really losing much, but not gaining anything at all either.
Yeah, so we will pay attention to Joseph DuPont, see if he can maybe clip off some time here and there. Maybe find himself in a battle for a win this season in the SRN Truck Series. So let's go ahead and check out Bobby Anderson. He is up 15 spots so far tonight, so picking up a lot of positions here in the field. It's in 23rd with 23 to go.
We see AJ Pritchett here, who's up 16 positions from the 27th starting position up to just got past Jonathan Byer for 11th. So that moves Byer back to 12th, and Pritchett on his way up as well.
Yeah, cool to see Pritchett running really well just outside the top 10. Has had a late start to this season, but has had a really good run so far. You see him kind of running with Tank Racing as he had their letters on his spoiler. Blair Holloman sees him. He has damage on the front of that truck now. I wonder where that came from.
I'm not sure. Looks like it might be the same case because I don't see any other damage on any other end of his truck. Might be the same thing we saw with Brad Herman. Maybe got into the back of a lap truck.
Wow, that is just helping Sean Jensen close that gap big time here, down to a second. And you see Joseph DuPont catching them as well. So this is huge. Blair Holloman was just walking away with this thing and now has a bent up front end. And he has lost the lead as he gets almost spun out of the last turn. Jensen just a half second off his bumper.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, don't look too far back, but you can see DuPont in the background. I mean, he's still 6 seconds behind, but he was 8. So not only is Jensen closed in on the bumper, but DuPont's closing in as well. One thing I wanted to point out is these guys can run about 19 to 21 laps on fuel. So they're right there at the fuel window to be able to pit here and make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, so that might be a saving grace for Blair Holloman if he finds himself coming down pit road this time. But going to need to do it early as he is definitely suffering some aerodynamic damage. I don't know if he has engine damage because he's keeping a pretty good pace so far, but still not helping him at all.
Yeah, talking about someone else that we talked about earlier is Jacob Zala, as he's gotten around Brandon Domain for 4th place. So move Jacob another spot up from where he originally started. I believe he started about 11th, I want to say. I'm sorry. Check that real quick. It's 10th. So, moved from the top 10 into the top 5 now and up to 4th.
Seeing that Rob Yost has manually disconnected from the race, so he is packing up the 98 machine tonight and going home early. But taking a look here, like you said, Jacob Zala running 4th now. That's going to put Brandon Domain back to 5th. We see some people coming down pit road this time. Michael York coming down pit road. Sean Kozier also down pit road. So the pit cycle has started, and that is going to unleash a chaos and frenzy of other pit stops.
So we've got these two racing really close, but Holloman's kind of pulled back away from Jensen a little bit. But the fastest truck on the racetrack right now is that 88 of Joseph DuPont.
Yeah, he almost smells like blood in the water, making up a ton of time on these two front guys. Blair Holman, like I said, able to hold this gap now and actually growing it a little bit more as it's sitting at around 8 to 9/10 of a second. So maybe Sean Jensen has used his stuff up.
And I think Holloman, even with that front end damage, I don't think he ended up like we saw Brad Herman earlier. Must not have had as much contact as Brad did to where it slowed him down so much. So thankfully that damage on the front end not hurting him too bad.
Yeah, Brad Herman sitting back in 8th now, 16 seconds back of the leader. So that just shows the difference in damage as Blair Holloman sitting with a 1 second lead over Sean Jensen now, but that really killed the 85's chances of getting away with a win here tonight, which is what he needed as he was trying to make his push to get inside the cut's going to have to salvage a good run. But Matt Johnson coming down for his pit stop here tonight, his one and only pit stop for that one machine.
And I think a good thing to point out here is if Sean Jensen could, we talk about short pitting or trying to get the jump on the guy in front of you. And this track is so long. It's not like the normal mile and a half we race on week in and week out. If you short pit by one lap here, you're going to gain a lot of time because, looking at times for Blair Holloman, his fastest lap was actually, give me 1 second. His fastest lap was on lap 5 at a 1:15.2. His last lap was a full second slower. So if you can short pit by one lap, you gain a whole second, as we see Blair Holloman coming down pit road right now.
Sean Jensen staying out, so he is going to get that one bonus point, which could be big when the playoffs do start. So maybe that is the strategy for the 29, as he is our new race leader. Going to see if Joseph DuPont, I believe he stayed out as well. So he's going to take over second. A lot of our leaders not opting to come down pit road just yet because, like you said, you can make up a lot of time. If you do short pit it, you can also gain that time back in the long run with fresher tires and might really help your cause. So maybe these guys think of that.
Yeah, I think with Joseph DuPont, it's not bad for him to be staying out because he's actually been running some of the best lap times between the top three leaders. So I don't think it's really going to hurt him as much to stay out a little bit longer than our original front two.
Yeah, only about 3 seconds back of Sean Jensen in closing, like you said. So we'll see if Sean Jensen decides to stay out or come in this time. Just a few more turns to go before you see, Joseph DuPont gets a little bit loose out of the carousel. A few more turns, though, before these guys decide if they're coming or going.
I mean, these guys could stay out at least 4 more laps before I would think they would absolutely have to come down pit road. But here comes Sean Jensen into pit road this time.
Matthew or Joseph DuPont coming as well. So both of our top two guys going to come down pit road this time. We'll see if Jacob Zala, I believe he came down the pits too. So that's going to give Landon Cardullo, going to give him the lead. Jack Johnson just behind him.
And it might be a little bit of Jonathan Byer racing strategy because Cardullo, and actually I don't think the 35 is on the lead lap. I don't believe Jack Johnson's on the lead lap. So throw that strategy thing I talked about out the window. Landon Cardullo stays out another lap. And, after seeing him spin earlier, I'm kind of surprised that he's staying out a little bit later.
Yeah, you'll see how it works out for the 13 truck. Repping the Ghirardelli Chocolates sponsor. But, yeah, Joseph DuPont sits in front of Blair Holloman now on this round of pit stops. A huge move by the 88. He only took 2 tires and a half tank of fuel. Only an 8.7 second pit stop. And that gets DuPont out in front of the 06. Can he hold on to it with just 2 tires, Landon?
You can already see him sideways there coming out of the bus stop. I just don't know if that's going to be the right call. I think he had the truck to run those 2 guys down without having to take 2 tires. And, I really think that's going to set him back just a little bit.
Well, AJ Pritchett just in front of these guys racing for position as well. Don't believe he has come down for his pit stop yet. Here, Landon Cardullo coming down pit road this time for his service. But yeah, that is a bold strategy for Joseph DuPont. We'll see if it works out for him. It looks like Blair Holloman might have already got around him. DuPont came back down pit road.
I don't know.
Maybe serving a speeding penalty. Not too sure what's going on there. But that's going to give the lead, and a big lead, to Blair Holloman as Sean Jensen sits about 4.5 seconds back. Now it's closing as he stayed out a little bit longer than Blair Holloman, but finds himself way back there.
Well, it wasn't speeding, because speeding would be a 40-second hold, and that definitely wasn't 40 seconds. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he forgot to take fuel, possibly?
Not too sure. Yeah, that's going to kill his chances of winning the race tonight, as he was battling with our leader not too long ago by 0.06 of Blair Holloman. Way out in front, sits about 5 seconds ahead of Sean Jensen. Jonathan Byer up to third. Hasn't pit yet, but still running really well. And we'll see if he's able to come down pit road this time. But he is a big mover so far after starting 16.
And a good bit of damage still on that left front, as we'll probably see him come in and take that fast repair that he has at his disposal. But not the night that he was probably looking for, but he's still, well into the playoff picture.
Yeah, but the night that someone was looking for, Blair Holloman, 15 laps to go. Could he get Zuyos Racing their first win here in SRN? And his first win as an SRN rookie would be a huge momentum heading into the playoffs, as he's had a fantastic season so far. Sits fourth in the points, but only helping the cause tonight. Third and fourth in the points, running 1-2 right now.
We talked about Mike Mosby, his teammate, being a possible guy to come out here and win this race, but we didn't really talk much about Blair Holloman coming out here and winning this race, but he's showing us otherwise.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful around this number 71 machine. Lap down truck of Travis Trevelyan, able to get by him easily. He's going to try and bring this truck of Lucas Lyons just behind him with him. Trevelyan going to let them both go.
But looking at it, like I think you were just about to say it, looking at it, Sean Jensen has closed that gap down just a little bit.
Yep, down to under 4 seconds. So this 29 machine trying his hardest to get up to the front. We could have an epic race to the end here between these two guys that both find themselves in the top 5 in points.
And looking at it right now, unless both of these guys have spin out, these are going to be the two guys that we have racing for the lead. As third place of Matt Johnson is 12 seconds behind.
But a great race for Matt Johnson. I'm glad you mentioned his name, because he finds himself about 60 points outside of the cut. This was a playoff driver from last season. Now, I don't think he's been able to make every race here this season in the Truck Series, but a great run that he needs to help build points on that bubble. See if he can get himself in the playoffs with a late surge, and doing so tonight with a third place run.
Yeah, I don't mean to, we were just talking about him, but Sean Jensen gained a second that last lap on Blair Holloman.
Yeah, Blair Holloman running a 1:16.8. Sean Jensen running a 1:15.9, so 0.9 of a second, like you said, gained on that lap alone, and you just see that delta falling down to almost 2.5 seconds. So he is coming in a hurry.
Yeah, and he stayed out that extra lap, and the tire wear here, really, it's not the worst that we see throughout the whole season, but I mean it's bad enough to be able to tell in one lap that apparently 1 lap fresher tires is about a second faster than a lap older tire.
Well, it doesn't help either when he's running the fastest lap of the race among all the drivers. You saw it there in purple, a 1:14.8. That is 0.4 of a second faster than anybody out there at any point in this race as far as all the best laps go. So he laid down a blazing fast lap. Not really closing much time this lap, but he's finding the spots where he can make up time and just trying to nail those.
Yeah, he's got Brad Herman got his damage fixed. He's still back there in 8th place, which I think is where he was before pit stops, but slowly closing in there on Michael Madden for 7th.
Yeah, so I bet you he is loving having that truck fixed after we saw him fall from the lead big time. Finds himself 27 seconds back now. So tough break for the 85, but salvaging it the best he can. See if he can pick up a few more spots with Michael Madden sitting right there in front of him. Not sure he'll be able to catch Jacob Zala, but might be able to get up to 7th here.
I mean, still overall, for being, like I said, around 20th in points, still going to be an overall good points night for him.
Absolutely. So back up front, Blair Holloman back to his good lead, but Sean Jensen. Oh, and look at all this traffic in front of Blair Holloman. This is not what he wants to see. 2 seconds. It's going to be getting even lower as Sean Jensen is going to be able to get through there smoothly. Walt Lipicki gets out of his way. We are going to have a battle here in a little bit for this lead.
Yeah, and not only you have to be careful getting around lap trucks here, you got to be careful about lap trucks battling each other in front of you, because they could get into each other and spin in front of you. And like we're going to see right here with the 43.
Wow.
Stan Carnathan around out of turn 1, and that's just a scary sight to have right in front of the leaders.
Yeah, Sean Jensen can see where Blair Holloman is on the track. Tough spot to pass right here. The S is going to have to let out of it a little bit as he had a truck on his left side. They're going to get a good run and some pull here with this. I believe that's James Kerr just in front of him in the 75. So that lead growing back a little bit as he had to take it easy through the S's.
Yeah, going too wide through the S's. I believe that was Jason Crackey in the 54. He was side by side with through the top part of the S's there, and that's just a scary thing to do through the S's. Period. No matter where you are through that section. But the lap traffic's definitely thinned out a little bit from what it originally was.
Yeah, so that lead maintaining at 2.2 seconds for Blair Holloman. Sean Jensen trying to get by these guys and see if he can run them down with speed. But now nobody's separating Blair Holloman and Sean Jensen. I believe Blair Holloman is going to have one in front of him that he's going to have to navigate on by to the Lucas Lyons machine out of Rev Racing.
Yeah, Lucas Lyons has been in front of him for about 10 laps now. He's kind of just been going through the lap traffic. Lucas has been opening up holes for him, and he's just been following him through. Lucas has a fast truck, just spun out of the bus stop earlier in the race.
Yeah, he's got that truck all cleaned up, all the damage fixed with that fast repair. Feeling good out there right now. Lead up to 3 seconds now for Blair Holloman over Sean Jensen. So finding some speed late in this run as these guys are putting about 8 or 9 or 10 laps on each of these sets of tires. Lena Cardullo making a pass for 3rd.
It gets around Matt Johnson there as they come out of the bus stop, and those fresher tires working for Cardullo as he was one of the later lead lap trucks to pit on that pit cycle. Yeah,
he has among the leaders the freshest tires out there right now. Only 7 laps to those tires, so feeling good, passing a lot of cars, and up to 3rd, but finds himself 11.5 seconds back of our race lead.
Ooh, I saw Taylor Smith up ahead of him just get a little bit loose there going into the last corner.
Yeah, it's one of the tougher things to do is kind of just stay out of the way of leaders, but still run your race as well. So a lot of these guys doing a great job of it. But now Blair Holloman's got another lap truck in front of him. Not too sure who this is. Looks like it might be a Bobby Anderson racing truck. Can't really see the number too well. But he's going to have to navigate around this truck and kind of wait through the bus stop a little bit. I believe it's Bo Tiffany in front of him.
Yeah, Bo Tiffany racing down from the Xfinity Series, and he just got around Bobby Anderson himself to put Bobby a lap down, but that lead now is almost down to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, Blair opting to take the outside lane in the carousel to get by the 01 of Bo Tiffany. Does so, but that lead down to 1 second. Sean Jensen right there trying to get past this 0-1 of Bo Tiffany as he goes by Bobby Anderson right there.
Like Bo was just moving over to let him go as Bo gets in the grass a little bit. But once again, no trucks in between our leader and second place Sean Jensen.
Yeah, so Blair really struggling to navigate these lap trucks. That could be costly for him, as there's only 1 lap difference on these 2 sets of tires here up front. So not that much of a big speed difference, as Blair Holman has another truck now ahead of him that he's going to need to navigate by. This could be Sean Jensen's moment to kind of catch up a little bit, trying to see who this truck is here.
That's Danny Setzer in the 17.
Gets by him easily here, won't have to really give up too much speed as he heads down a long straight chute towards the bus stop. So good pass by him. It's going to really might hold up Sean Jensen here potentially, as he caught him right at the entrance of the bus stop, so that's going to hurt the 29.
Yeah, but Brad's sliding around a lot. Especially since this lap started, I've been watching him slide. He slid big time off turn 1, slid a little bit coming out of the S's, and then had a big slide there going into the carousel.
This will be the longest 7 laps of his life, as he is trying to get his first win here as a rookie in SRN, and it's just a huge feat to accomplish for any rookie driver, let alone any driver. So a lot on his mind right now, and he can see that 29 not too far back, trying to steal that win away if he can catch up to him.
Yeah, kind of opened up that lead back again, now up to 2.6 seconds. As you see again a little bit of a slide coming off of turn 1 there. So he'll go up the hill through the S's.
Yeah, Sean Jensen just being really patient back here, not letting that lead make him overdrive that truck. So you can see a little bit of strategy here as Blair Holloman trying to get by Bergeson as they go into the bus stop, able to do so cleanly. Don't think Bergeson will really hold up Sean Jensen either, as I believe he'll just get out of the way here and let the 29 go on by. So both of those guys get by easily. Landon Cardulo really closing quickly, though. Already under 9 seconds with 7 laps to go. That's a lot of time to get something done here for the 13.
It is. It's kind of a lot to make up, but if our 2 leaders get side by side and racing each other, make a little contact, and I think Cardulo would be right there in the catbird seat.
Yeah, we could be seeing a really interesting finish here shaping up, but right now no trucks, like we keep saying, between our 2 leaders, Blair Holloman and Sean Jensen, and I don't see too many people in front of Blair either.
And I think this is the section where Jensen is a little bit stronger than Holloman. He gets off turn 1 a little bit better, and he's able to take that momentum and carry it up through the S's, as I believe we'll see that delta show a little bit here as it starts working its way down just a little bit there. It was at 1.7 going into 1, and now it's at 1.5 coming out of the S's.
Yeah, so just a little bit faster through that sector of the track. But this is kind of where Blair Holloman starts to stretch it out a bit. He is really fast through the bus stop and carousel. But as I say that, Sean Jensen closing the gap a little bit more. Not too much. They're both about maintaining that speed here through the carousel. But, man, it is almost a chess match right now for these drivers out here. Who can pick up on who, where, and who's losing what, when.
And for Sean Jensen, I don't think he really needs to push his truck. You come into 5 to go here. You're second and a half back. Just keep your truck straight. Try not to, make those rear tires mad, and just hit your marks.
Yeah, this straightaway is huge too, as you carry a lot of speed and a lot of momentum out of that last turn. It looks like Blair just really does that a little bit better than Sean Jensen. Oh, he gets really loose there. Almost spins it out.
Yeah, and like I said, that's where Jensen's been better, is off of turn 1. I've seen that 06 truck sideways like that a couple times off turn 1 these past couple laps, and everything that he gained on that front stretch he gave right back to Jensen in that sector.
Lead maintaining at 1.6 right now as our 2 leaders going through the bus stop. Still no lap traffic anywhere too close to these guys. As you see him get a little bit loose again heading into the carousel. So definitely pushing that 06 truck for all that it's got. It's got to be careful here as he gets a little bit loose on the exit and almost finding himself into the grass. And just look at the time that Sean is gaining on him from just that little slip.
That's what I was talking about for Jensen, just to take care of his tires, because Holloman's rear tires right now are hot, as we just see him sliding at just about the exit of every single corner around this track.
And it's almost so much easier to just be racing as the guy in second as opposed to the leader, because it's just two totally different mindsets out here right now. Sean just waiting, hoping that Blair makes a slip up. Blair is trying to race that truck for everything it's got and get everything he can to try and gain on Sean Jensen. So two different races happening right here. Matt Johnson sitting just outside the top three, having a great run tonight, running fourth here.
And that truck's still looking relatively clean. And that just goes to show, if you can keep your truck on the racetrack and not hit anything here at a road course, you come out of here with a top 5 finish as Matt Johnson sitting in fourth.
Well, let's check on the outside the cut standings right before we get down to these last couple of laps. Looking for these guys to have a good run out here. Kevin Winker running in 13th, might be able to make up some ground on these guys inside the cut. Cody Riggs having a good run as well, and 16th up from 21st place, who finds himself 8 points outside the cut. Dave Hughes Jr. after a spin up to 14th. So a lot of these guys sitting outside the cut having a good run so far, along with this guy.
Yeah, and like we pointed out, Matt Johnson just needing those points, and he's doing the best that he can tonight. And if you come out to a road course and finish in the top 5, you've done the best that you possibly can, because finishing one of these road course races is hard enough.
Well, down to 3 laps to go. This race running out of time for Sean Jensen to catch Blair Holloman. We could be seeing a first-time winner here in SRN. We're going to find out within the next 2.5 laps if he can get it done.
Yeah, and I'm still a little skeptical, because he looks a little bit better than he has, but definitely want to know how much rubber is left on those rear tires, as we've seen Blair sideways time after time off these corners. And like I've said, but somehow he's managed to pull away from Jensen while doing that. So I don't know how much Jensen has left in the tank either.
Yeah, apparently you don't need the rubber here at Watkins Glen, because like you said, putting down really good laps so far, having a really good run to end this race, and just picking up time on the 29 as we cross the stripe with 2 laps to go here.
And it's between these two, because Landon Cardullo's kind of stalled out there at the 9-second mark. As we look at the lap times here, Holloman's been about 3/10 faster than Jensen here these past 2 laps.
Yeah, he's going to love seeing that. Jensen closing the gap a little bit, back down to 2.1. But he's going to have to make up a lot of time here in these next 1.5 laps if he's going to want a shot at this 06, who has been nearly flawless all night long. Coming in to fix that damage on his 1 pit stop. Out there with a clean truck now, and it is looking fast.
And I think Jensen's just hoping that Blair makes a mistake, because there are some lap trucks up ahead, but I don't believe they're going to be a factor by the time we get to the checkered flag to end this thing.
You never know, though. It is a long way around this road course, so we will see. But coming down to the front stretch here with 1 lap to go, he's going to have Bruce Amston just in front of him. Shouldn't be a problem here, as he should get by him before the entrance of turn 1. That lead down to 1.8.
If Jensen's got anything left, this is where you show it. I mean, that's a big gap to overcome, but this is the last lap, and you just got to give it your all here and see if you can run Holloman down.
Yeah, up through the S's for the 06 car. He's had a great run all season long. Finds himself in the top 5 in the SRN Truck Series points, but looking to build on that tough spot here.
Oh, wrecking the bus
wrecking in front of him. Oh, wow. This is not what he wants to see.
Lucas Lyons with a lot of damage there.
able to get by it cleanly, though. No trucks in front of him now in the carousel, but shrunk the gap a little bit down to 1.4 seconds between him and Sean Jensen.
Did I say lap trucks wouldn't be a factor? I misspoke. I'm sorry. I'll never say that again.
You did. But now able to get by it cleanly, as I'm sure his heart stopped for a second. But coming around the last set of turns, all he's got to do is get through this one cleanly, and he's got a drag strip of track ahead of him to the finish line. Blair Holloman is going to win the battle at the Glen 90 here at Watkins Glen International.
Sean Jensen will take second. Landon Cardullo is going to cross the line here for third. Matthew Johnson fourth. And looks like Jacob Zala is going to round out your top five.
So great race between the top two guys at the end. It got a little bit dicey there with the lap traffic. Brandon Domain going to bring it home in 6th place. Brad Herman across the stripe for 7th place in an 85 machine. So a good rebound by him after some early bad luck for the 85. Joseph DuPont coming home in 8th. Michael Madden going to be 9th place, just 34 seconds back. And AJ Pritchett going to round out the top 10.
A good run for that 14 truck, up 18 positions from 17 positions from his 27th starting spot.
So Blair Holloman taking his victory lap around Watkins Glen, going to come back to the stripe to do some donuts, I imagine. So I'm sure his team owner, Rob Yost, is a proud team owner. This is the first win for Zoo Yost Racing here. I'm sure Rob is really wishing he didn't pack up the truck early because he'd be out there celebrating right now with his brother.
Yeah, and like I said, these guys practiced basically all week for this, and Blair was pretty fast in that race, and didn't really think about him at the beginning of the race, but came out here and put together a great run. A little bit of trouble there in the midpoint of the race with that front end damage, but overcame it and won tonight.
Yeah, an absolutely great run for that 06 machine. But let's go ahead and give you guys the rest of the rundown. We've already gone through our top 10 here tonight for the battle at the Glen 90. So coming home in 11th is going to be Jonathan Byer, having a really good race tonight for that 66 machine. Bradley Rivers going to come home in 12th for Next Level Motorsports. Kevin Winker having a good run that he may have needed to help his push inside the cut. Josh Mueller going to come home in 14th. Cody Riggs going to come home in 15th.
Mike Mosby will finish 16th. Lucas Lyons, after having a fast truck early, having that small problem in the bus stop, and a small problem there at the very end, will finish 17th. Jack Johnson will finish 18th. 19th will be Kyle Wimble, and rounding out the top 20 will be Bobby Anderson.
There you have it. Those are the race results for the top 20 tonight here in the Truck Series. So let's go ahead and get to the interview portion of this and bring up Landon Cardullo. Landon, it's Greg Olenek and Landon Lacey up here in the booth. Congratulations on a top 3 finish here tonight after your win last week at Charlotte. How does it feel to be back on the podium and back here with us, man?
It's great. Not road courses aren't my strong suit. I've never raced this track before until tonight, so I'm surprised I did as well as I did. Other than that, truck was great. Pretty loose in my opinion, but I think everybody was having the same problem. I screwed up within the first 10 laps, spun out, got it back together, and just got sent back. If not, I'd be up here with the guys, probably battling for a lead.
Yeah, you won last week, and you come out here and finish third. And your teammate, can't think of his name. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Teammate Jonathan Byer didn't have as good of a run as we normally see him have, and you're going to gain a little bit of couple points on him here tonight. How do you feel about your momentum as we get closer and closer to the playoffs?
I think the momentum is definitely great. I know talking between the team, I'm not too worried about catching JB. I know this team's a big team effort type situation, so if I'm first, he's second, it's not going to really nobody's going to get mad at each other. I know some people have that problem, but the momentum's good. I think as a team, we are basically solid for the playoffs.
All right, buddy. Well, before we let you go, as always, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a shout out to? And I know you brought us some Ghirardelli chocolates, right?
The best I could do. Yeah, I want to thank my friends, my family, my girlfriend. She's watching tonight. They're big supporters of me. Ghirardelli's riding with us. They're going to probably be the sponsor for the rest of the year. Want to thank Bolify, Shoe Line, and just all the sponsors that could make this happen. Also want to thank Team Jonathan Meyer Racing, because without them, again, I couldn't be in this position.
All right, buddy. Well, I'm going to go ahead and shoot you my address so you can go ahead and overnight those bad boys because they are delicious. So cool to hear that they're going to be on your truck for the rest of the season potentially. But congrats again tonight, and have fun celebrating with the team, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, that's Landon Cardulo coming home in third place. Let's go ahead and bring up our second place driver tonight, and that's going to go ahead and be Sean Jensen. Sean Jensen, it's Greg Olenek and Landon Lacey in the booth coming home second place tonight. Couldn't get to Blair at the end of that one, but tell us how you're feeling about a good run here at Watkins Glen.
I really need a good bounce back week. I don't really think I've had really a good finish since Pocono. I should have had a win last week, but got a little bit got the better of myself and downshifted instead of going up. So I really took away my win there, but I just needed a good run and glad we had it this week. Second place, 0x, can't complain with that.
I think the biggest question for me is there at the end. We saw the gap kind of increasing and decreasing, and we saw Blair kind of sliding a little bit around coming off the corners. Did you have anything left in the tank, or were you just kind of happy with where you were at?
I tried pushing harder for a little bit, but I just wound up losing time. So I just said to myself, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing, saving my stuff how I was, keep that 0x, I'm on the bonus point for that. And I'd rather finish second than try getting up there, and then I got to get around him. I just figured it's just better off stay there in second. And if he did mess up, then I'd be right there to go eat him right up.
Yeah, well, coming home with 2 bonus points tonight after leading that lap as well. So a good night for you, Sean, as you're already sitting in the top 3 in points. A great push towards the playoffs. But before we let you go, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank my Rev Racing teammates. I want to thank you guys up in the booth. Also want to thank my sponsors, Long MacArthur, Sparkle and Shine, and Silverback Tax Solutions. And yeah, about it.
All right, buddy. Well, great run tonight. I know we'll be having fun in the Rev Discord, but go have fun celebrating with your teammates here in the Truck Series tonight. Great run and good night, buddy.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you.
All right. Well, that was your second place finisher, Sean Jensen. Good run tonight for him, but let's go ahead and get to the man of the hour. That's Blair Holloman coming home with his first win of the season. Blair, congratulations, man. Tell us how you're feeling.
I'm feeling pumped. I'm honestly happy. I really don't know how else to describe it. Just overjoyed.
You ran a great race, and I remember racing with you earlier in the week. We had that practice race, and what did you take away from that race earlier in the week that you could take into the race tonight that helped you out the most?
I think the biggest thing I learned from that practice race Monday night was carrying the speed through the bus stop in turn 5. I couldn't get off of turn 5 with a lot of speed, but I could carry enough speed through the bus stop that turn 5, as long as I didn't spin it, I could keep the speed up. I just couldn't get back on the gas quick enough.
Tell us how you're feeling after getting Zuyost's first ever win here in Speed Racing Network. What's that mean to you guys as you all are making a great run here as we near the playoffs?
It definitely gives the team momentum. Like, I know as for the team, we all didn't have a lot of luck tonight, but for speed on the normal tracks, it definitely gives us motivation in the right way. Like, I know Mosby, he might have had a bad night tonight, but he was faster than me through the practices that we had this week. And pretty much just working together. We all try to compare what we need to do to run a little quicker, give advice to one another, and for the most part, it works. And I'm glad we were able to get that win off our back, and hopefully we can get more here as the season winds down.
Well, yeah, it's always huge for a team to get their first win. So you guys are showing great momentum heading into the playoffs. But before we let you go and get some shout outs, I believe our producer has a little win sticker to put next to your name. I believe we're going to see it here real shortly. Right there above the Tiger, Zuyost has a winner here in SRN. So congrats, Blair. But before we let you go, like I said, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to give a couple shout outs here. Definitely want to give a shout out to Bass Motor Speedway, all my friends that work there with me. Of course, a shout out to my tool guy, Roy Salisbury. He's actually the first real sponsor on this truck for me. I want to give a shout out to my dad who's watching, my little brother who also is watching. He's actually sitting in the other room. And pretty much just the friends that did tune in to see tonight. I'm glad they were able to see me capture a win for once.
Well, the first of many, I imagine, as you've shown great speed all year, a great rookie here in SRN, and you're going to be making a great run towards that money here at the end of the season. So congrats again, Blair. Go have fun celebrating with your team, man.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Take care. All right, Landon. Well, that was that. What do you think? A new winner here in SRN.
I mean, I think it was a great racetrack to produce a new winner. We only had 2 road courses. We had 3 road courses on the schedule for this season. And, I think road courses tend to bring out some guys that we don't normally see be that fast on 1.5 miles. And even though Blair's pretty quick on the 1.5 miles, it still, brought him up to the top tonight. And that's just kind of road course racing at its finest.
Yeah, and it just says a lot about this league to just see new winners every week, it almost seems, here in each of the 3 series. So great seeing a new winner, like I said, here tonight at Watkins Glen. Blair going to try and carry that momentum next week into Michigan International Speedway for the Great Lakes 130. We'll be there for Week 12 action next Wednesday, October 6th. Catch it at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. But before that, we are going to be still here at the Glen tomorrow night for Week 12 action in the Xfinity Series. Catch that tomorrow, September 30th at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And Landon, I love road courses, but I just don't look forward to them for some reason. I know it's weird.
I mean, I'm kind of the opposite. I kind of look forward to road courses. But I mean, how do you feel about tomorrow night after watching the truck race?
I just want to keep the car on the track. That's what we're going to focus on. Everything else will take care of itself.
I think that's a pretty good point. I mean, like we spoke about multiple times tonight, just being smooth and keeping the car out there on the racetrack. And I mean, you look at Matt Johnson who came out 4th tonight, and I mean I think if I came out on Sunday for the Cup race and finished 4th, I'd be pretty happy with that myself.
All right. Well, we'll see how it works out for myself and the rest of us out there. Brandon Domain will be out there too with me. But for myself, Greg Olenek, Landon Lacey, and our producer, Sean Griffith, that's going to do it for us tonight here at Speed Racing Network. So remember to always go faster.
Go faster!